Detective Conan has already continued for more than 20 years, and the manga has grown to the extent that it has the momentum to reach 102 volumes. Among them, Akai Tsutomo is one of the people who still have many mysteries. Just by hearing the surname, Akai, you will know that he is the father of that popular character. Now, from here on, I will explain what are the points that indicates Kuroda as Tsutomo Akai. There are 4 main reasons. 1. Gosho's writing pattern. This claim is purely an exercise in noticing how Gosho writes his arcs. In each of 3 major arcs, Vermouths, Kiers and Bourbons, there are 2 new major characters. The main BO character and his parallel. The parallel is usually the most important non-BO character introduced in the arc and has a very strong personal connection to the main BO character. The parallel for Vermouth is Jody. The parallel for Kier is Izuki. The parallel for Bourbon is Okia. Gosho also loves to put red herrings by making the parallel appear to be highly suspicious and seemingly evil only for them to be good all along. I think we all now assume that Hyoue Kuroda being Rum is a red herring, so if he's not Rum, he is very likely to be Rum's parallel, unless Gosho shakes up the formula for the first time. If Hyoue Kuroda is a parallel, that must mean that he needs a personal relationship with Rum. We know nothing about Rum as a person, so it can be too early to speculate what Hyoue and Rum have as a relationship. However, we know one important aspect about Hyoue: he got put into a coma for 10 years. The cause of that coma must be extremely important, and it's very logical to believe that Rum caused the coma and Hyoue now wants revenge. 2. Kuroda Hyoue doesn't have minor memories. There are 2 interesting things that are mentioned about Hyoue. When Hyoue first described him in episode 810, after the coma, he looked like a completely different person, and he is still missing quite a few minor memories. Now this is strange, since how common do people in comas suddenly change their faces? Yamato was in a coma and his face is more or less the same. Now if you read a lot of Conan, I think the first thing that pops to mind is impersonation or mistaken identity. Gosho loves disguises so much, and Vermouth and Bourbon's arc all had impersonations or disguises, while Kier's arc had suspicions of impersonation. I can think of little reason why Gosho would randomly make him look like a completely different person if he's not planning some switcheroo here. So why would the fake Hyoue impersonate him? There are 3 schools of thought I can think of. First, he could be Rum. As I explained, I think that possibility is low unless Gosho double bluffs. Second, this can be an honest mistake. Remember, he has memory loss, so perhaps he had amnesia and the nurses convinced him that he is Hyoue. The third and most plausible in my opinion is that he's faking his own death. After the incident 10 years ago, he was presumed dead and his body was wrongly identified as someone else, so he's taking advantage of that. He's pretending to be dead to protect himself and his family because he knows Rum will finish the job if word gets out there that he survived. With a fake disguise, it's much easier for him to investigate his own death and get revenge. Regardless of whether he legitimately lost his memories or is pretending, I feel by the time he transferred to Tokyo, he's already regained his memories, since the only reason I think he's at Tokyo now is because of Rum. 3. Father as superintendents in the series. I've already established that Hyoue could be a father and whose daddy is currently missing. The Akais. In the series, it seems that good detective abilities is genetic. After all, let's look at the high school detectives. Shinichi, Heiji and Hakuba all have daddies that are detectives even better than themselves. Okay, I'm not sure about Hakuba, but it's presumed. Both the father of Heiji and Hakuba are police superintendents in particular. Now, who else is a high school detective? Sarah, as well as her older brothers previously. There's no doubt that their father must be some amazing detective, and guess who randomly pops up as an extremely competent police superintendent? Hyoue. 2/3 of the high school detectives in the show have a superintendent daddy, so the Akai's having one as well is highly possible. I think he faked his death and escaped the black organization, in the same way that Akai Shuichi is going by Okia Subaru. The fact that his appearance changed as well suggests that the other members of the Akai family probably won't recognize him if they were to see him. Don't mess this up. At the end of the movie, Zero the Enforcer, Kuroda said to Toru Amuro, "Don't mess this up, Bourbon." Even when he first appeared, he said, "Don't mess this up." This cliché is also used by Mary in the episode 928. From this point on, it is thought that Mary speaks in a tone that imitates Tsutomo, so it can be, "Don't mess this up," equals Tsutomo's mannerisms. Hence it concludes that Kuroda is Tsutomo. When Shuichi Akai is also disguised as Okia Subaru, the habit of saying 50-50s did come out, so it is quite conceivable. Also, Kuroda Hyoue is a tea drinker. Now that tea and England are connected, the main topic is that the Akai family lived in England. Naturally, Tsutomo must have been familiar with black tea in England. This means that Akai's beverage of choice was also black tea, which is a point in common with Kuroda Hyoue.